Today on TriRiot, my worst DNF. Welcome to TriRiot, the show that uncovers the mysteries of why ordinary people push themselves to extraordinary limits. I'm LG, your host. Do you drive to work? And if you do, what do you do to pass the time? Do you listen to the radio, count cars, put on makeup, eat breakfast, yell at other drivers?
Get the hell on your side of the road!
My commute to work is about 35 minutes, and that's just enough time to pop off an episode of TriRiot, which actually amounts to little more than talking to a camera mounted in the car, which is kind of what I'm doing here, except without the car. Today, I want to share with you a story about my DNF. That's triathlon acronym for
Did not finish.
So here it is.
You know, the question is, how do we know that we've had a good race? I mean, let me give you an example. I competed in the, well, I didn't compete. I participated in the Savageman triathlon in Maryland, Garrett County, Maryland. You know, you have to climb the Western Port Wall, which is, I don't know, 30% grade, 31% grades.
Holy crap, 31% grade? That's like this. No wonder they call it a wall.
You have to climb that, but that's not the tough part, really. The tough part is you've got miles of, 6 miles of what, 6% grade or 7% grade right after that wall, and then you've got several other climbs that are just incredible.
Blah, blah, blah. Somewhere in this story I was talking about having a good race in DNF. Where the hell is it?
So about 45 miles into the bike, it's a 56-mile bike, 45 miles in, there's a hill called Killer Miller, they call it. And I'm struggling up this hill, barely able to turn the crank, you know. I mean, my mind was out of it. I wasn't thinking right, I wasn't seeing right, so I got off the bike and started walking. And of course I'm cramping up like crazy, but I started walking up this hill and I realized suddenly I'm done. I just sat in the ditch. I pulled my bike and myself into the ditch, sat there and waited until somebody came and got me. And they did, and I don't remember exactly, but anyway, long story short, I DNF'd.
Oh, wait, did he say something about DNF? It's about time.
Okay, DNF, I didn't finish. And, you know, most people would look at that and they'd say, well, that was a crappy race. On the other hand, I say, no, that was a good race for me, because I put it out there. I did my absolute best. I gave it my all. You know, I learned a hell of a lot. I learned where my boundaries are.
And I probably should have recognized that first boundary right before I registered for that race.
I should say I learned where some boundaries are. And so it was a good race. Was it perfect? No.
What I didn't talk about in the car was that I spent an hour in the medical tent while the medics tried to get my body temperature back to normal. I was suffering from, and get this, hypothermia. Remember that photo of me earlier? Look at that sweat. I was hot, not cold. Here's something from the Mayo Clinic website. A list of symptoms of hypothermia. I'm going to skip the mild and go straight to moderate. Nothing about sweat. Well, after an hour, I was taken to the hospital, and after my temperature came up a bit, people stopped asking me to hold their beers and sodas, and so the doctors realized I was probably warm enough to go home. In reality, it was a good learning experience. There were two things that came out of that. One, don't expect to race well in the mountains if you've only trained in the flats, which I did. And number two, enjoy every bit of the race that you can, because you never know when it's going to end. and you never know what condition you'll be in when it actually does end.
And I think that really the key measure of performance is how much fun you had in the race, right? Isn't that why we do this, really?
Well, it would be nice if you could take home something more than a busted ego and a hospital bill.
Until next time, stay to the right, pass on the left, and keep on smiling. For TriRiot, I'm LG, waiting at a stop sign.
Wait, I can't stop there. I got to tell you the really sick part. After all that I went through, I really want to sign up for that race again. I want to do it again. I want to conquer that Western Port Wall again. I want to finish the whole race. And when I do, I'm going to get a brick with my name in it laid in the pavement at the top of that hill, that Western Port Wall. But really, why? Why would I want to subject myself to the pain and the suffering and sort of the humiliation of spending time in the hospital? I mean, there is that possibility again. If I could answer that in just a few moments, there would be no need for me to do this TriRiot web show. But to give you something that might satisfy you a little bit, suffice it to say that there is something very satisfying about pushing your mind and your body to its farthest limits, and then realizing that those farthest limits just got bigger. They just expanded, because now I realize, hey, I can do that. Maybe I can go a little farther. Maybe I can do a little more. I think that's the reason that I want to go back and do this kind of thing. That so many athletes will be in the middle of a race that's just horrible, they're suffering, they're in pain, and then, I don't know, maybe an hour, 2 hours, a day, a week after the race, they're ready to sign up for another one. Let's leave it at that, and until next week, stay to the right, pass on the left, keep on smiling. For TriRiot, I'm LG.